Where Sean Levine will step into the cage with Brendan Tobin in Are You Gonna Fight Me?
I'm gonna fight your ass.
Here on Tapped Out.
That's right, fight me like a man.
Only on the BetQL network.
You know the rules. I want a good, clean fight. When I tell you to break, I want you to step back out my command and break. Now go back to the corner and come out fighting at the bell.
Well, all this fight talk makes me want to fight. Luckily, I don't like this guy across from me. That's Brendan Tobin. I'm the sports machine, Sean Levine. Put your dukes up. I hope you got them wrapped tight tonight. Let's go at it. We've been talking about who gets the title shot next at Leon Edwards. It looks like it's going to be Colby Covington. You're going to fight me if I say this one's really obvious who deserves it most. It's Bilal Muhammad. I'm not saying I want to see it. I'm not saying that he's ever going to get the shot, but he is 1,000% the most deserving.
You're
such a hater, dude. You're such a hater.
I'm not a hater. I actually think Bilal Muhammad has shut a lot of people up. You know, he finished his last fight. So, yeah, Bilal Muhammad's definitely up there. Is it clear cut? I think there are arguments. Like, you know, like it's been if every, like it's like Alex said, if every title fight ever always went to the most deserving guy, okay. I mean, there were plenty of times where Leon had to wait a long ass time before he did, and they were going to more sensational, you know, more sellable fights. So yeah, well, I get Bilal's argument, and he's up there. I think that if you told me the UFC had the option of Colby Covington or Jorge Masvidal instead of Bilal Muhammad, I get why they would go in the direction of the others, but you know, he's going to get his time. Don't worry, dude. He's a wrecking machine.
What a hater. I mean, those other guys.
How am I hating? How is that hating?
Because the guys you're talking about not only have gotten a shot, whether it's Masvidal or Colby, so how about some new blood? In the case of one of them, they've gotten multiple shots, and those guys are what? 1-3 in their last 4 fights combined? I get it. They're fighting the cream of the crop. When's the last time Bilal Muhammad lost a fight?
And who's he
the
fighting?
Nixon administration?
He got his eye poked by Leon not too long ago. Those guys were fighting. Leon lit him up in that
no
first
decision.
round.
That was a no decision.
It was a no contest. It was a lucky no contest because his eye got poked because he got lit up in that first round, dude.
All right. Speaking of Leon.
Not that, what am I supposed to ignore that too?
Well, we got to see 4.5 minutes of a fight. So let's let it go on before we make a decision. Speaking of Leon, you're going to fight me if I say it. I can't believe I'm saying this. Leon's legacy, when it's all said and done, is going to be better than Usman's legacy. And hear me out real quick. Not just because he's taken him out 2 out of the 3 times, but I just realized he's young. Leon's 31 years old. I mean, that means he's got in his prime by fight years, another 3 or 4 years on the, Usman's 4 or 5 years older than him. So I think when we look back on it, we're going to look back and go, damn, Leon might have even been better than Usman altogether. You going to fight me?
I mean, what do we talk? But bro, you and I started the show today arguing that the fight was a draw. So he's bounds better because of a head kick in 10 seconds. Like,
what does it say in the standings, though?
I guess it says that. Okay, good. It says it in the standings. Let's talk about what actually happened in the game, Peter Pan. Like that's like this is what's the reality of it. Like if we're gonna talk about what actually happened in the game, for the most part of the games, Usman's probably won the majority of this series. Leon, yes, he pulled out a Hail Mary. Congratulations, he wins. But, like, he's got a lot of catching up to do to say, oh, he's going to pass Usman. Like, we're talking about a guy who was 10 seconds away from people arguing was better than George St. Pierre at welterweight.
I witnessed Peter Pan Halloween 7th grade, and I've never lived it down. Like, when I see those people, which is rarely sometimes, they still call me Peter Pan. And I've got all kinds of nicknames, you know what I mean? And, like, that certain group of people, because I went as Peter Pan, they're still like, hey, what's up, Peter? Yeah.
And when you say people, you mean the Lost Boys.
That's who I mean. That is exactly who I mean. Brendan Tobin, always there for me. Sports machine Sean Levine, producer Jake Noviker, and you talking a little fighting here. Tapped out on the BetQL network. You're going to fight me, and I think we agree on this one. Conor McGregor used to be the epitome of cool. Like, for a guy like me, and he made it look easy. Whatever he was doing, he was cool. And now he's the epitome of a tool. Everything that he does makes me cringe. Like, I can't look directly at him anymore. You going to fight me?
He has had some pretty cringe moments, I will say. I think when you have your leg snapped and you're shouting, Your wife was in me DMs with your leg snapped off. It's a tough look to come back from. Also punching an old man who's not looking at you. Yeah, he's had some rough ones. Can I just say though, as an aside, what's going on with this Conor McGregor USADA thing? Like, can we just acknowledge, can the UFC just come out and say, look, he's juiced to the gills and we don't care. What is this Dana White coming out and be like, I don't touch USADA anymore. You guys are going to have to give those questions to Nowitzki. He works for you. What are you talking about? I don't handle that stuff anymore. What the hell are we talking about? You mean all of a sudden this organization that you made up, USADA, none of us wanted it. It just came here like the drug testing pixies to make your sport clean, to sell it for $4 billion. Now all of a sudden you're just like, I don't know about Conor McGregor and USADA. And like, Conor's basically giving double middle fingers to them saying, I'm not going to wait 6 months to fight Michael Chandler. What you going to do about it? And it sounds like the answer is they're not going to do anything about it.
Epic rant, maybe the best time. I mean, since you ate the egg live on the radio here. But Jake, why is our boy Brendan surprised about this? Like, he's surprised that Conor McGregor's getting special treatment. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
I don't know if he's surprised as so much as just flabbergasted and enjoying the amusement. But I really just came on to toot my own horn real quick. Albert Duraev defeated Chidi and Njokuani by decision. I had Albert Duraev by decision plus 600 and split decision plus 1400. So let's go. Let's cash him. But of course, Conor McGregor is going to be treated like a king because he is a king.
But like, I get it. Conor McGregor gets special treatment. I just find this hilarious. How have they not gotten their ducks in a row on this? That, Conor, nobody's come up with the exemption story. They're just like, the rules changing for Conor McGregor. Put those over to Nowitzki. I don't answer those questions anymore. I got to run power slap.
Here's what I think's going on. I'm certainly not a doctor, and I don't play one on the radio, even though it took me 7.5 years to get through college. I think what's going on is, when your leg snaps, it takes some serious recovery and rehab and fortitude and maybe stuff that we don't know about here. It's like not what would happen if you or I had that same injury. So you get whatever you need to taken care of when you're outside the USADA pool. And maybe part of that means that you're able to take other things at the same time to get your body to where you look like the Hulk, because he's absolutely huge. I mean, to be honest with you, though, we're having fun with it, and Conor's kind of fun and easy to poke at these days. I don't know if that's going to be good for him, because part of Conor McGregor, in fact, I would say the thing that he was best at was his fluidity, right? He was as smooth and fluid as any fighter. He could change stances, and he had that wide open stance, and he could kick you, and he could just do all these different things. And now he's kind of got some T-Rex arms. Like, I don't know if that's going to be great. Even if Michael Chandler, even if they end up fighting this at 170 or whatever they come down to, I don't know if that physique is going to work out best whenever we see Conor back in the octagon.
Dude, I don't care if he's using juice. I want to be clear on this. I want Conor McGregor to fight. I don't care if he's using juice. I bet you if you told Michael Chandler he could urinate green ooze before he walked into the octagon and Bruce Buffer introduced him, I bet you Michael Chandler will agree to fight him. He doesn't care either. It's just hilarious, the cover-up and the directions this is going in. It's like Conor is basically telling USADA, double middle fingers, I'm going to do what I want. Dana's saying, well, I don't really care. And USADA kind of has to act credible, but man, they really don't seem very credible anymore, do they?
And you're surprised. It's like Cocaine Bear, the movie. Whatever. I mean, he's already a bear. Give him some cocaine. Let's see what happens. If it's Conor McGregor, whatever, give him some steroids. Let's see what happens with Jake Noaker and Brendan Tobin. I am the sports machine, Sean Levine. You're going to fight me if I say John Jones is going to retire without losing another fight. And I wanted to say undefeated, but I didn't want to get in the conversation. He's not really undefeated. What I'm saying is, from this point forward, however long that is, I don't think John loses another fight, no matter who the oncomers are. You gonna fight me?
I'm not gonna fight you. I'm a big, I'm a big John Jones GOAT believer. I don't believe anybody really touches him. Man, who could? Your boy Aspinall, maybe.
Aspinall, Tom Aspinall, dude. He's a big dude.
Here's the thing that I think would help Aspinall, kind of under the radar. Young up and comer who John might not be that motivated to face. I think that you need like a little bit of John being lax, kind of like he was against Damon Reyes or against Thiago Santos. Like you need a little bit of pinch of that on top of, maybe some more time being distracted and stuff like that. But yeah, if his fights are, if you're telling me it's Stipe and Curtis Blades, yeah, I don't think those guys are beating him, man. I don't know. I don't know who maybe this Pavlovich, maybe. I mean, he looks kind of scary, but I think you want to talk about guys who are going to use special treatment. I think John's going to say, hey, I ain't fighting that Russian guy. Sorry.
Pavlovich, that guy's knocking out everybody. Speaking of knockouts, the Tank Davis-Ryan Garcia fight is going to end in a knockout. I'm not telling you who's going to knock out who, but I'm telling you somebody's getting knocked out. You going to fight me?
I am leaning Gervonta Davis by decision. I think that it is going to go the distance.
So exciting.
Well, listen, there's been fights that have gone the distance that are exciting. Just because it doesn't mean there can't be a flash knockdown, something like that. But I think that I'm leaning towards, look, Ryan's going to be bigger. He does have a hydration clause. He can't be any more than 10 pounds on fight night. Gervonta taking on a naturally bigger guy, I think that could be a little bit of an issue. Does Ryan have the skill set to touch him with that check left hook to get him? I don't know. I mean, I just think that Gervonta's a little bit more skilled than Ryan Garcia is. But man, I mean, I tell you one thing. If it does end in knockout, whoever does get that knockout, I think is going to be like off to the stratosphere for the rest of their career, as far as star power is concerned.
Absolutely. I mean, you could argue that they're both going in that direction. So maybe the best case decision would be what you're talking about, just for the future of the sport. Like it comes down to a decision at the end. It's close. We don't know whose name they're going to read, and then maybe they run that one back, because this is like a true super fight in their prime. Looking forward to that one. Tank Davis going to ultimately go off as a slight favorite against Ryan Garcia. Do you do think though that like Ryan Garcia obviously has the fast hands? You mentioned that check left hook that he has. Has Tank Davis been knocked down in his career so far?
I don't think so.
Because it would be a sight to see. Like that's what I want to see. That would be a sight to see Ryan Garcia standing above Tank Davis, because I would say right now, and I think we'd all agree on this, Tank's the A side. Garcia, even though he's a star, is the B side. Although whoever wins this one, as you said, basically I would say becomes the dude in boxing. Would you disagree with that? Like for the next few years?
No, I think definitely whoever wins this is going to be in the driver's seat in that position. And I think that's the beautiful part about this fight happening, like this week, Usyk and Tyson Fury falling apart. You're like, how could you guys blow this? How could you be this dumb? Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, how could you guys be this silly to fight over this when if you take these fights and you have the reward of being that guy and these guys being in their 20s and now having another 10 years of people following and caring about your fights is a monster investment on it. So yeah, I think whoever comes out on top is definitely that dude. I mean, Gervonta's probably goes to the top, but I think that him taking this fight is going to put him to another level.
As BT just mentioned, Fury Usyk fell apart earlier this week, so that thing's done. And yeah, are we ever going to, like, what's up with that? Are we ever going to see Spence Crawford? It's been talked about they've tried to make it happen now for a couple of times. Is this never going to happen?
I don't think so, man. I just think that Terrence Crawford, he kind of crossed the Godfather on that side and Al Heyman with those negotiations falling apart and making them all very public. I mean, never say never, but I would say very unlikely, because I just think that a couple things are going against it. One, age. Two, Errol Spence is going up in weight. You got Jaron Boots Ennis, who's coming up the rear as far as top welterweights are concerned anyway. So, like, are these guys even the best welterweights in the world anymore? Who even knows? But, yeah, I think that train has passed us.
All right, keeping an eye on these fights, working our way to Cheeto Vera versus Corey Sandhagen in the main event. And whoever wins this game goes on to the Final Four. K-State down 3 now. The Owls are flying 67-64. This game is in New York City. 3 minutes and change left. So we'll keep you updated on everything going on in the world of sports. As far as the gambling line goes, on BetMGM, you laid a 1.5 with the Wildcats. Right now, K-State trailing by 3. 3:16 left in that game. And, of course, we'll work on our way to the Holly Holm Yana Santos fight. And then, of course, Marlon Chito Vera takes on Corey Sandhagen. So we have a lot to break down, but coming up next, we're going to welcome on JHK to break down the fights with us here. Looking forward to his opinion on all things fighting. It feels like we're in a really good spot, right? We've had like a couple of huge cards the last couple of weeks. We're now a couple of weeks away from another one. And then, of course, we have to get our guys' fights on tonight's main event, Corey Sandhagen and Chito Vera. We'll talk to him coming up next. You're locked into the BetQL Network.